Leaders across the world are constantly trying to communicate and communicate better. So speaking to connect, speaking to engage, speaking to inspire. But the question is, all that speaking, is it really getting through? Is the message really sticking? Do you remember the last time you were engrossed in a presentation which was full of data and lists? Well, I've worked for 21 years and I don't remember. But I'm sure you remember the last time a leader told a story. And that is the power that we are trying to bring to you during this workshop.
I understand the importance of storytelling, but I am trying to get a structure and also to start collecting a lot more stories.
In terms of presentations, the new story that is coming around is really how to sell your story.
As a concept, it's quite intriguing. Just want to know how you can engage your audience in a more effective manner by using stories.
Honestly, stories have been with us from even before language was born, right? Anyone recognize this? What is this? This was before man had language. Yeah. So Storytelling for Leaders is a program where we help leaders find their own stories and then teach them how to tell that story so that they can get their messages to stick. We don't call this a program on the art of storytelling. And the reason I don't call it that is because as soon as you use the word art, which means some people will be much better at it, some people will be not so good at it because there's an art involved. What I'm going to try and do is to create some science of business storytelling. Science to me, as I grew up, is when you repeat the experiment, you should get the same result.
I always thought it was a little artistic, but I think it's more of a science. Is that what makes me comfortable?
Interesting start. It's getting me more and more involved and engaged.
We all know that stories are very engaging. In fact, we do it regularly in our day-to-day life. How do you bring that power to business? When you have to get it to work in business, you should have a point that you're making. Storytelling is for anybody who leads any size of people. If you lead a team of 5 or you lead a team of 500, storytelling can help because we all as leaders trying to inspire, to communicate, to influence. What is of course the most quintessential time marker of all when it comes to stories? Once upon a time does not work in business. So what we are doing here is really helping people to find stories from their life and be able to tell those stories, and so that people can get the message, remember it and retell it. For me, the definition of stories is stories are a fact. That's the number one. What we are going to do is wrap it with context and deliver it with emotion. So we are not in the business of today going to create stories.
How it will help us in the local context is our local leadership team capability. I see there is a huge opportunity of improving their capability and helping this to drive the vision.
Storytelling can work across functions, across industries, across culture. So we talk about 4 different situations where stories can be used powerfully, and we teach 4 different patterns that can be used in those situations. Connection stories, which is when you introduce yourself. Yeah? We are doing that all the time, right? Introducing ourselves. But most of us introduce ourselves like a mini resume. Why should you remember your mini resume versus the previous one? And more importantly, what should he remember you for?
Connecting story piece is very important for me because it really helps me to build rapport with these people when I introduce myself.
We are always trying to find change messaging, right? Whether it's my new product that I'm launching, a new process, my new strategy, my vision, my mission, and the way we do it, and we'll go through why we believe that it doesn't work, and how do we use the story structure to get messages like that to stick.
What is the process that you need to construct to build a story? So I think it's been a great learning so far.
So I like the clarity story because I got to practice it in front of the entire group.
In corporate, we are so used to being asked to give opinions and judgments. And we, on the other hand, when we listen to opinions and judgments, we are not really following. When data is combined with stories, it helps us connect, remember, and be able to retell. So what influence stories really says is, instead of just trying to push data to change people's mind, can you blend that with using examples and stories and leave that guy to pull that in for you?
The first one is for building a rapport. Second one is to getting the message stick on, and we need these kind of stories at every stage.
So it's a lot of theory but baked with the really implementable ideas and examples.
So we talk about how do you spot stories, how do you get other people to tell you stories, how do you store them, and how do you easily retrieve them when you need it. Story work is made up of storytelling, story listening, and story triggering.
What I see is that the more we listen, the more we're building up our personal banks and better poised to kind of convey stories. So
When we handle even customers or any complaints or any issues, I think there is a methodology that needs to be handled, followed for eliciting stories.
Post the workshop, we need to put that learning into practice, which is guided, which is focused, and we call that deliberate practice. And we do that over a 6 months period where we journey hand in hand along with the participants to embed that learning.
Right now we are going through a change integration with a multinational, and at that point of time it is very important you build up stories.
I think this will bring in a little more awareness of a structure. So that can help in, probably bring brevity or a different style or more impact on how we put forth our point of view.
It's really contextual about how to use it, and lending a structure to it makes it a little bit more believable.
Leadership uses a mix of styles, and storytelling could be one of the very effective styles to hold the attention of Gen Y.
And you can communicate your message in a much, much better way, much more influencing way, which is not possible if you're going straight to the top.
This one has been inspiring because we know the right way to make a story.
Do you now believe that you can all be storytellers, hopefully? We are actually all storytellers. So I'm yet to find a person in the over 200 people that have gone through this workshop already who at the end of the workshop hasn't agreed that they are all storytellers.